Here are 5 panels, and I guess we better find our accessory bits. On the end of it. End cap has got a classic hex shape. Now, we'll deal with those first, but just finally in here we've got 2 filling bags. So back to my end cap, it's got keys on it, the hex component's got keys. Line it up with the keyholes, push it in. You should find that goes in very easy and you've got a very flush finish. Put the hex over here on the left hand side. I'll explain why later. Take your pin cap, it has these grooves on it. It doesn't really matter, but if you line up the grooves with the hole, there's 1 pair of grooves, that makes assembly a little bit easier, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. You'll notice the pin is quite hard to get in, and as hard as you push, it'll probably be a little bit proud and not quite flush. You need to get it flush in. So you will need a rubber mallet or a big ugly old hammer. I'm going to use the big ugly hammer and a cloth. Always a good idea to use a cloth of some sort. Whatever you do, don't hit the pin because you might snap it off. It's pretty robust, but you may snap it. But if you put the cloth over the edge of the cap and tap down, and that's the reason I'm using a heavy hammer. I don't have to hit it too hard. But if it's not going in, you can be quite firm. And it won't do any damage to the end cap or the drum. But don't need to hit that anymore. We've got that in perfectly flush. I'll put that out of the way. We don't need the hammer. We don't need the old rag. You'll find you've got 5 plates, and if you look at them you'll notice that there are 2 that sort of match, 1 that's unique, and 2 that do match. The one that's unique has C hooks, or C shape, C hook on the end, and that's our base panel. So I'll put that on the table, I'll need that. The ones with a ball on one end and a flat on the other end are the door panels. One of them happens to have a door handle on it. And then the last, I'll put them over here, and the final 2 have a ball and a hook shape. So we've got the base and the dome with the hex. You'll notice on the dome that there's sort of a groove, a slot. There's what I would call an outer circle and an inner circle, and you'll notice inside some nuts embedded in the plastic, and a groove with little cutouts. The groove is where the end panel goes in. It's as simple as that. The panels go into the groove. So, well, I've got that there. Panel is inside the groove. We'll get 2 screws in. Just do it half tight, because you may need to wiggle the dome a little bit to get the second screw to align. I've aligned quite quickly, that's good. Now I can tighten this one all the way. I can tighten this one all the way now. Just check that they're nice and firm. That's the first panel in. Just going to slide that over here. Take one of these panels. You'll notice a C-hook and a ball. I'll get the ball at the right end. The ball goes into the C-hook, and there's only a small thing you need to be aware of here. Well, it's a big thing, really. You need to keep the panel horizontal, and you need to keep it in a straight line. So this panel is in a straight line with the existing panel. If you try and come at it from an angle this way, it won't work. An angle this way won't work. This way won't work. It's got to be in a nice straight line. And the other thing is, it needs to be perpendicular to the table. So this is nice and flat, this is at 90 degrees. And when you get it started, you'll find it goes in nice and easy. When you reach the end, you can slide it into the slot. That's terrific. Now I'm only going to put one screw in the top hole, and the reason for that is that I just don't have enough screws with me. This machine's been running for 5 years with 3 screws in one end and 4 screws in the other. But I recommend you try and get all 6 screws in if you can. But if you find for some reason one screw just will not locate, don't panic, it won't be a major issue. But if you can, get both screws in. Now we'll do the same for the other side. Get the C shape. In the hole. Nice and perpendicular, nice and straight. Everything in a smooth, straight line. And it goes in very easily. Straight into the slot. One more screw. probably a good idea to do the top screw first, because if you want to get any particular screw in, you're probably preferable on the top screw. If the bottom screw doesn't fit, that's fine, don't worry. If we can get the top screw in, that'll be quite handy. Now the door panel, because I put the hex on the left, the door panel with the handle, I'm going to put on what I would call the far side. So I'll do this one first so I don't cover what I'm doing. Now the drum should sit nice and flat. This time with this panel, you don't want to be vertical, you want to be at about 45-degree angle, because it's the sort of natural angle of the panel. So we'll line up the hole, the ball in the C, 45-degree angle, straight line, horizontal, and smooth as baby's bottom. This one, 45 degrees. Now there are no screws in the door panel. I'm going to put the lock over the top, try and stop them popping out. That may or may not be a good idea. Probably isn't. I'll leave that open. Now the easiest way I find to do this next little bit is to draw the end so it's hanging off the table, so you've got two free hands and you can access the aluminium. And we need to try and get the plates lined up. They have a tendency to open up a little bit, and you'll need to close them. They're just the weight of the aluminium is pulling them open, and we'll need to close them to get into the slots. But if we can line the bottom slot up and get one corner in position, then we can just leverage this panel with our thumb and get it to line up, and that's going really smoothly. Just do that again. I'm trying to get either this one or this one of the bottom two locator holes for the nub, and I'm just lining that up. I line up the slot with the bottom panel, I leverage this side panel so it lines up, and that goes in. And I leverage it, and that's beautiful. And she's in. Now we'll just keep it tight as I lock the drums just so they don't fall. Open, lock the doors I should say. Turn it over. I'm going to get two screws in the back, in the base. Nice, not too tight until I get the other one in. Swing straight away, that's good. Tight. Tight. And go to my side panel and do the top hole of If you'd like that to line up, you may need to wiggle your drum a little bit or shuffle your aluminium panel. But with a little bit of luck, they'll line up straight away. Get that in nice and tight. Go to my opposite panel at the top. Lined up straight away, nice and easy. Now I've run out of screws, but you should have a full complement. Get your 6 screws in, get them nice and tight, and there you have it. One fulling drum, fully assembled. The latches, the locks are quite tight. They'll become a little bit loose after a number of uses, but make sure they're fully open in order to open the drum. Make sure they're closed and that the panels are flat and when you're closing them, and make sure they're fully closed or fully locked when you're using the drum. You may find a little bit of rattle, that's normal. Now you've got a little bit of padding under the handle, you'll notice that, which will help. One thing that Joni and I do or use, because we find things mostly, Joni's got a piece of solar pool bubble and it's cut size so that it fits perfectly in our drum. And we'll close the lid, it's in there. For fine Nuno felts, that seems to work really nicely. There you have it, one drum ready to go.